Good afternoon, everyone. Today I got a notification on my computer saying that there was an update for War Thunder, so I hopped on as soon as I could. Winged Lions. I've heard a little bit about this update. Apparently we're going to be having, on the battleships, we're going to be able to launch aircraft, at least off of the Scharnhorst. We're going to have some more Israelian, the Army and the Navy. I'm hoping a French Navy? Maybe. I have not heard too much about it, just the highlight is the Israeli Air Force. I'm hoping this update will be good. We'll have to wait till my computer downloads.
As you just saw from my camera roll, my computer is updating. Now it's fully updated, and now we can see what's up. The first spot we're checking out is Israel. Now, since there's so many new aircraft in this new tech tree, I will do a separate video about this, but let's just see like some of the best. So we got we have a B-17, just with Israel flags. It looks just like the other B-17s, just Israel. So really this all is. There's a couple here that are Israel made, like this one. This one, it's doing what the Swedish do. They just take it, put their flag on it, then say it's theirs. Just rename it. And this looks like a F-16? So it looks like some sort of American jet. It's kind of, with this fin right here, it looks kind of like Soviet. I don't know. I'll do a separate video just to show off all these, but let's continue on with the rest of this update. First, we're going to start off with Sweden. Nothing new in the air. On the ground, I heard about this. It's a 155 millimeter gun. Now, when I first saw this, I thought this was sort of like a heavy AA gun. It could be, if you're willing to waste shots. It looks like it's just this big gun. It has no machine gun, so I don't know if I would use this at close range, but I'd definitely use this as like field artillery. Let's go to France on the ground. We have a new medium tank. This is a 120 millimeter gun. So a machine gun right there. Now a 12.7 millimeter machine gun. Just one though. Let's go to helicopters. Now last update there was not many helicopters. There's only I think one that was new. We have a modified Spitfire. No, Seafire. With two 20mm Hispano cannons and two 7.7mm Browning machine guns. Let's go off to Italy. On the ground, we only have one new one, like last time. Just one 60mm cannon and a Beretta 7.62mm. Nothing new in the air. We have a new Leitch cruiser. Okay, so it looks like a handful of 20mm Oerlikon cannons. Looks like 8 152mm machine cannons. A couple of dome-mounted 37mm, and about 6 533mm torpedoes, and some 100mm auxiliary caliber guns. Nothing new in the coastal fleet. We do have a new tank in China, the M41D. We have a 76mm gun, 7.62mm machine gun, and a top-mounted 12.7mm machine gun. In the air, we have this looks like a Russian fighter, LA-11, with two 23mm machine guns. Looks like a Yak-9, I think. That's what it's called. Something like that. Some Japanese army. We have the Type 10. With 120mm gun, 12.7mm machine gun. Not that much in the ammunition's kind of all spread out. That's surprising. There's nothing new in the air. A new destroyer. We have about 3 of these 5-inch guns. And you usually don't see these. It's the big, what do you call them? The big turrets with about like 4 to 8 millimeter Bofors. We got some Mark 10 Hedgehog anti-submarine weapons. I don't really use them in game. They're not really good with ships. Looks like it's it for Japan's fleet. Nothing in the small fleet. Now we're on to Britain. We have the Challenger 2. 120mm gun, one 7.62 machine gun, another 7.62. Nothing crazy. Slat armor? No. With helicopters? Nothing new. Aviation. We have another Seafire. This kind of looks like the French one. Is this one Australian? No. Just like the other Seafire, just has different flags on it. I think that might be Australian, maybe New Zealand. The Blue Water Fleet. Nothing. Coastal Fleet. Nothing. No, Russia. We have this. Some sort of new tank destroyer. 152mm gun. And a 7.62 machine gun on the top. You don't usually see some tank destroyers with full swiveling turret. You don't see those often. Helicopters, nothing. Aviation. MiG-27 has a 30mm Gatling gun. Secondary weapons. It has 500 kilogram bombs, 100 kilogram bombs, just a bunch of bombs. I think those are the laser guidance bombs, the newer ones. Has those manual guidance missiles. Nothing crazy. We have a new light cruiser. Pretty armed to the teeth. About 425 twin millimeter cannons. Handful of 37 millimeters. Some twin, some solo. About 6 of these 533 millimeter torpedo tubes. And some 100mm guns. Coastal Fleet, nothing. Now, Germany, I'm pretty excited for. I heard there's going to be new there's going to be that aircraft launching destroyer, or not destroyer, battleship. Alright, so we have looks. Is that auto loading? I don't think that's auto loading. 105mm gun. 7.62 drum magazine machine gun. Nothing too crazy. Helicopters, nothing. Aviation, nothing. Blue Water, the Scharnhorst. This is the one I was excited about. So as you can see now, there's actually the hydroplanes actually work. So other than that, it's pretty good battleship. None of those random side torpedoes. About 4 turrets with 283mm guns. A couple of triple mounted torpedo tubes. Nothing too insane. So in the Coastal Fleet, we have our motor gun boat. Just some Flaverlings. 88mm and a 37mm flak. No torpedoes. Last is American weapons. Let's start off with the Army. New AA gun. Looks like just a bunch of rockets. So, 2 tubes each with a Roland Sam. I don't get the Sam so much. Okay, so officially no new helicopters this update. 2 new fighters. We have this big boy. There's a 20mm Gatling gun. Just some missiles, some rockets, some big bombs. We have an F4J Phantom. We have a double 20mm machine gun. Is there anything else? So everything except for these couple of presets, there's nothing that does not have the double 20mm. There's just a bunch of bombs, rockets, missiles, air missiles. In the water fleet, we have the USS Wilkinson. We have some 3-inch guns, 127mm guns, some locked-in-place 533mm torpedoes. We have a rocket launcher, anti-submarine. Looks like they don't have many low-caliber guns. That's the coastal fleet. Nothing new. Alright, so that's all the new stuff. Now we're going to test out to see if we can find a ship in the premium that we can launch an aircraft off of. Sadly, I can't go over every single ship with you guys, but it would take way too long. I tried to. This video ended up being 45 minutes long. But I will be able to show you at least 2 ships from every single tech tree if they use different aircraft. Let's start off with the American USS Helena. It has 2 hydroplanes. Looks pretty familiar, right? All it is just a modified version of this that has folding wing capabilities. But if you look for, say, at the Northampton, uses what looks like a modified F3, F2. The Germans, they use the same aircraft for all their ships. For the Prinz Eugen, as an example, it has the Aerodose 126. Every single ship here uses the same plane. Same thing with the Russians. They use the same plane as well for all their ships. They have what looks like a modified I-15. It's called the Colt 2. It's an I-15, but just with 2 forward-facing machine guns, so forward, and 1 backwards machine gun. With the British, only 2 ships that I've found so far use aircraft. The HMS York, which uses a Catalina boat plane-looking plane. Really weird, just on a very small size. We have the HMNZS Lender, which uses what looks like a Fury Mark II with swordfish wings. Looks weird. With the Japanese, we go to the, I think it was the Agona, or Agano. It has 1 big plane. It looks like a B5N2, just with floats. When we go to the Oba, wrong ship. I'm at the Sendai. It just has 1 big plane in the back. It looks like no, I can't say what that actually looks like. That doesn't look like anything in the game. Nothing even close. If we go to the Suya, it has quite a few aircraft on it. It has 1 big plane that I could not understand what it is. Then what looks like 2 Ki-10s, or actually 3, 2 on catapults. Looks a little bit different than the Ki-10 though. With the Chinese don't have a navy. Finally, we have the Italians. Now I think it was the Pola. We have 1 plane stored below deck. It's just a CR-32 looking aircraft. It's a little bit different, but it's basically the same thing. That's it with all the float planes.
The last thing I have to say about this update is gotta be the festive music and the decorations. Like we have the big Christmas tree back there. We have that festive oil truck. The snow on the bomb, snow on the ground, the little igloo over there, the reindeer, hood ornaments, the elves. Everyone's wearing Christmas hats. If we go over to the army base, everything's covered in snow. On this big truck, we have gingerbread cookies, gingerbread houses, snowmen, more elves, more reindeer, lots of presents. Another oil truck or fire truck, whatever that is. A nice festive tent. If we go out to the open ocean, there's ice everywhere. Little ice platforms with Christmas themed stuff on it. Bunch of the little ice cubes. These big glaciers. That is pretty cool if you can see good on that. It's like a palace made out of snow or ice. That's really the last thing I have to say. Oh, I almost forgot the morning mass. That's pretty cool. Now that's the last thing I really have to say about this update. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Have happy holidays.